Today we're looking at types of data. Now, types of data we'll need to identify when we gather some data, whether it's t-shirt size, eye color, time, weight, number of students. We can categorize them in different types of data. Now, if the data that we collect are in categories, that's a bad color to do it, categories, so such as eye color, just blue, red, yellow, or t-shirt size, which will be like small, medium, large. These are in categories, so we call them categorical data. But now within categorical data, there's two different types of data as well, ordinal and nominal. So ordinal, as the name suggests, is the things that are in order. So I'm just going to write it here, order. And nominal, no order. So within categorical data that we collect, if they're in order, such as t-shirt size is small, medium, large, that's going to go down to ordinal data. So small, medium, large. And then something like eye color, there's no particular order in eye color, like black, brown. So that's going to be under nominal data, eye color. And then on the other hand, we have numerical data, so data that we collect that are in numbers, so numerical numbers. So that could be time, that could be weight, that could be number of students in this classroom. Now, within numerical data, we have continuous and discrete. And continuous is the one where we generally measure. So we measure time, we measure weight. So those things are going to go under continuous. And I like to think the idea of continuous data is that if we have the technology, we can measure it down to more precise data. So instead of saying 1 minute, 30 seconds, we can go 1 minute, 30 seconds, 0.4576. Same as weight, same as height. So those will be continuous. They will continue forever if we measure it. Whereas discrete, things like number of students, so it's just whole numbers that we cannot measure like in decimals, and we can't say we have 25.7 students or anything like that. So whole numbers are discrete types of data. Now there are a couple of confusing ones, generally to do with postcode and money. So postcode come in numbers. So you might think, well, numbers are numerical data. However, each of these numbers in postcode represents a category, so a suburb in this case. So 3000 is the Melbourne CBD, 3125 is the Glen Waverley area. So these are actually categorical data, even though they come in a number. So categorical, and they're not in particular order, like CBD, Glen Waverley, there's no order between them. So this is nominal. There's a bad N, there you go. And money, it comes in numbers, so it is numerical. However, you could argue it could be both continuous and discrete, depending on the scenario. So imagine some money in a bank account. Again, if you wanted to measure it down to more precise, you could have $100, 0.2564, so on and so on. So in this case, it's continuous. Whereas if you just have some notes, so you have like two $20 notes and one $10 note, this is just $50. It's not going to be 50.424, so on and so on. So in a case like this is going to be discrete. So numerical discrete. Hopefully that makes sense. So those are the ones that comes up that are quite confusing. especially postcode. That's going to come up a lot. Categorical and nominal. Now let's look at some examples together. So we're classifying the following variables as categorical or numerical. So that's all we have to do. So if we have favorite pets, dog, cats, birds, or other, they are in categories, they're not in numbers, so it's going to be categorical. The time in seconds, it's in numbers, so it's going to be numerical. And the next question is a survey and ask the question, Ferrari makes the best cars, do you agree? And these are the responses that you're given. So these responses are in categories, so they're categorical. But we also want to know if they're ordinal or nominal. So agree, strongly agree, disagree. Those are in order, as you can probably see. So it's going to be ordinal, categorical, ordinal data. The maximum temperature each day is recorded. Is it discrete or continuous? So it's numerical. And temperature is something we measure. So if we measure it, it's going to be continuous because we can measure it like 27 degrees Celsius, or it could be 27.24657 Celsius. So it can go on forever. It's going to be continuous data. In the next one, we're classifying discrete, continuous, nominal, or ordinal. This one is in categories. So it's going to be either nominal or ordinal. This is in order, so it's going to be ordinal. Actually, let's not be lazy and write the whole thing. Ordinal. Students select their favorite country to visit. Countries are in categories, they're not in numbers. And countries are not in order, so no order, nominal. Number of children, discrete, they're in numbers. They're in whole numbers. Number of children can't be 2.5. The birth weight, so weight is something we measure. We measure it, then it's going to be continuous. Alright, so the next example here, I would like you to pause the video and do it yourself, and then come back to the video to check your answers. Alright, so you're back. Hopefully you read the question carefully. So it's asking you to do categorical and numerical, and then also identify it further to these. So number of students, numerical, discrete. Time taken, time is numerical. Time is always continuous. Next one, we know this is categorical. This is in order, so it's going to be ordinal. Students choose a color. Color is categorical. And this is not in order, so nominal. And lastly, height, however, now is classified into three different categories. So now this becomes categorical, because now now we're not just measuring height, we're putting height into these categories. So it's categorical, and it is in order, so like 160, 180, higher than 180. So it's going to be ordinal.